Do you feel like you've changed the way that you live life after losing
Oh
children?
my gosh, I don't even know who that girl was that was like, I was like, what, 28? No, I was 27 or 28 when Chump died. And like, I'm not more mature at all. Like, if anything, I'm just like as crazy as ever. But I'm just a different person. Like, the way that I look at the world and like my relationships with people, the way that I like acknowledge things or like empathize with things or just like read rooms or pick up energy, just like, and I'm not in a woo woo way. Like, I reckon I did get a bit spiritual after he passed away because like you're kind of grabbing onto anything that you can, makes you feel like held or warm or whatever. Like, you do go through that when you lose someone. But I would just like be just so there for people or like really feel if someone was emotional or needed a hug or just anything going on, I can feel I can really pick up on that. Whereas before I'd just like, I wouldn't really be thinking too deep about much. I'm
Yeah.
such a different thinker now.
Well, it's interesting because you said in the book or or a podcast, I can't remember exactly where, but your almost default setting back then was happiness.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
does that change? Is there like an extra layer to emotion and feeling that you have
Yeah.
now?
Now I'm kind of like, I think my default setting is still happiness, but like now it's funny, I would never put on happiness before, but now I'm like, fuck, I've really got to put on a brave face today. Like, I've got this on and that on, and like, I just can't be Devo today. I can't be sad today. Like, you know, like for example, right now, like if I get sad talking to you, that's sweet because this is real talk and this is great. But like sometimes if you've got to like, hold yourself like together at an event or like something where you're not like getting real and deep or like just like you kind of have to get through this day. I'm like, fuck, I'm putting on this fake happy right now. Like, I'm just pushing through today.
Does that come
Um,
with motherhood too?
yeah. And like, I also think being a mum, I'm a completely different person again. So I would have like, whether Chump was here or not, I'm sure like every friend I speak to who's a mum, it's like, fuck, you do lose your identity a little bit through that as well. So there's a whole other layer. Like, I lost myself through grief, and then I kind of became the same person, but I feel different. And then, yeah, through motherhood too, like you just bloody lose so much sleep and you're just disheveled and you're just like in the best way possible. But you form a full new purpose and reason for living, and like just everything's different. Like, yeah, it's just like something you can't explain.
So Minnie's 3.5 now. What do you feel like you've learned about yourself through the process of being a mum?
Well, I used to be just the most impatient person in the world and just I still just absolutely don't put up with any shit at all. And being a mum, I mean, that's a hard thing to do because like they're bloody having tantrums and I'm just like, wrap this up right now. We don't have to I don't have time for that. Like, I'm a bit like, I don't really have too much patience for that. But like in terms of like, you know, you're trying to have a conversation with a 2-year-old and they're just like learning to, like I've gotten so much more, all right, slow down, Elle. She's not going to keep up with me. She's not walking as fast as me. She's going to take ages to like, and I make her pretty independent. So I'm like, no, you can put on your, like you're putting on your clothes today or you like, so like everything takes a lot longer because of it. And it has to make me a lot more patient, for example. But yeah, just what else have I learned about me? Wow. I thought I always knew I'd be pretty like, yeah, I guess maternal. Like, always wanted a baby. Like, always wanted heaps of kids actually. But now, I mean, now that I've had I thought we'd have like 3 and I've had 1 and I'm kind of like, "Whoa, I could be one and done." But maybe that's cuz I'm on my own.
Well,
Like,
it
I
is a
think,
lot, isn't it?
yeah, it is a lot. So maybe if I wasn't on my own or Chump was here, I'd be like, it'd just be like, normal life. And you'd be like, cool, let's pump out another few. Like, I don't know.
I
I'm
also
not
feel
saying
like
that's easy. Like, any mums
no.
listening, I know that's freaking hard and huge and scary.
One thing that's interesting, I think, to pull on here is, whilst you say it's, you're alone and it's you and Minnie, I feel like you have, from the outside at least,
Yeah.
such a big family of people who are around you. Like, I've been it's been really beautiful to see the relationship you have with your brother.
Yeah,
And your
bro's
your
the
brother just seems
best.
like a great human being who, looks like he absolutely loves the role that he plays as an uncle.
He's so cute.
But it also feels like, is he a big brother?
Yeah, he's 2 years older.
Yeah, you can tell that.
Yeah,
You
can
can kind
you?
of feel that energy.
He's
I
so
feel like
protective.
his protective nature of you, the way he
Oh,
stepped in.
he is so protective of me.
Mm.
Like if he hears that I'm even hanging out with a guy or like anything's happening, he's like freaking out. Like he's he's so protective, and yeah, like of Minnie as well, like just the whole thing, and like anyone else that we give time to or let into our zone, he's like fucking Constable Vlug, like my brother. It's hilarious. He's so great. He's so great for me. Like it's so nice to have that, yeah, like support and also just someone like guarding us.
Have
And
you?
he's doing what Chump probably, would have been like as a dad, but as just a figure in my, like someone that looks after you.
I don't know if you've ever asked him this. I'm sure you've had some kind of conversation, but I guess you alluded to it before. You lost your dad 2 years after Chump, which, was news to me today when we were chatting before this. And I almost think as a big brother myself, I think about the role that you play. We're so lucky that my dad's in our life and we've got our mum, and our family is so beautiful and so caring and so in touch. But I can almost imagine from your brother's shoes, he feels maybe like he plays a role for you now to be an even closer big brother because you don't have your dad in your life.
Yes.
But also kind of like that uncle step-in dad for Minnie.
Yeah. I think like I lost Chumpy and I lost Dad in a pretty close amount of time, and they were like I lost all the men in my life apart from my brother. So he was just like, fuck, I've got to step up and be this like rock and this man for Elle kind of thing. And I think the pressure weighed on him a lot, and it wasn't anything that I thought about at all. Like no way, but I know that he feels that like responsibility and pressure. And I don't want him to feel that. I'm like, oh, bro, take it off. Like take a load off. Like he feels the weight of our loss and grief so heavily. Like even a lot, I don't want to say a lot more heavier than I do, but he shows it and doesn't have the outlets that I have. Like I get to talk to people about it, and I have a podcast where I can like get on and fucking cry and be like, oi, grief sucks. I'm Devo today. I'm crying, and like normalizing grief as such. Whereas he's like, a typical, I don't know. He's like a male, a few years older than me, who's just like, what's therapy? I'm not doing that. And like, just like, just that guy that's just like, all right, I've got to, I'm the man of everything now, and I've got to step up and like show not much emotion and not let too much out, and like, but I see him suffer, and it's so hard for me to watch. I like really, yeah, and it takes a fucking toll on him that like I don't think a lot of people, actually, yeah, his close friends can see it, but yeah, it's definitely hard for him. It's hard for people that don't like, yeah, have an outlet or want to have an outlet or aren't open to having an outlet. Like, I have to drag him to like a kinesiologist or something to get him like talking or something to shake up inside him, or like, and he enjoys it when I drag him there. But then like, the next time I'm like, come on, I'll book you back in. He'll like, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit. Like kind of thing.
I feel like I can imagine it'd be challenging, but you can tell there's a lot of purpose.
Yeah.
To do it. And he probably feels, I think anybody who feels like they can care for their family and be that person, like there is something really rewarding to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. He honestly is freaking amazing. And I think he feels, yeah, I think everything just weighs so heavily on him, and I don't want that.
Yeah,
but it's so funny how everyone else thinks that. It's because I get that a lot. Like a lot of people say that about him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope he's not listening. I don't want him to feel even more pressure like that he already has on him. You know what I mean?
For sure.
He doesn't listen anyway, so
I think it's more of a it's more you notice it because you admire it.
Yes.
Not because you feel like he's done what he had to, but it's like,
yeah,
mate, that's it's really admirable. I want to touch on something you spoke about, how for you've got the outlets of being able to chat about this. It's actually just literally popped to the front of my mind. Probably the first introduction and connection to you via email was you, me, and Lottie.
Lottie, yeah.
And so obviously Lottie is a friend of yours, Lottie Bowser, who's been
Yeah.
on the show 2 or 3 years ago now, and has quite an insane story around grief and the loss of her hubby very early in their lives at a similar age to yourself. What's it like to have people? Is it challenging sometimes because as your community of people who have experienced what you have grows, sometimes maybe feels like you can't escape it, but it's also important to talk about it?
It's a really tough one, and I feel it makes me feel quite guilty now. So, because at the start, Chump died in July. Lottie's beautiful partner, Ben, passed away a few months later. And at the time, I was like, nobody in the world was, it felt like nobody in the world was going through what I'd gone through, because you're not instantly, like, none of my friends, like, no one around me can fathom or understand, like, none of my friends had lost their partners, like that kind of thing. So I was just like, holy shit, like the craziest thing's happening. I'm in the middle of this vortex. Like I'm kind of feeling numb. I feel nothing. I feel weird. This is like this crazy feeling. And then all of a sudden, my best friend Fisher's manager, Brett, actually was like, I've heard of this guy, Ben, in London. He passed away, and he kind of like, well, it's actually kind of weird. Him and Chump look so similar. Like they look similar. And then Lottie and I look similar. Not that that means anything, but I mean, we're all the same age as well, is what I meant to say, kind of thing. And he was like, can you like talk to Lottie? Like she could really use someone to talk to right now. And I'm like, bro, I could really use someone to talk to as well. Like, what the hell? What do you mean her partner's died? Are you like, you're kidding? Like, this is not everyday shit that you hear. Now that I'm years on, it is everyday shit that I hear, and it sucks. And I wish I had time to give like every widow or, every woman or man that reaches out and goes, my partner's just passed away. Like, oh my God, like it kills me. And I feel so guilty that I can't form like all these relationships with all those people. But Lottie, we both needed each other so bad at the time. We just wrote each other all these essays late at night, and we just both weren't sleeping. We were both writing heaps and just like chatting to each other, and the similarities in what we were feeling were just like amazing and unmatched. And it was just like, whoa, I finally feel so heard and so seen. And then like, of course, we started FaceTiming, and then we would meet up around the world here and there. We've met like twice now. And it's like, she was just like amazing. And I've done that with a few like, I don't use the word widow anymore, but like I just think of it because I think of like back in those days we would like say we were widows. I've done that with a few of us now. Like there's been a few that are like similar age, and like you really felt the same essence of our relationship with their relationship, and the loss was like, not that you can ever compare, because she's lost Benny and I've lost Chump. They're completely different people. And, so I never like to compare grief, but like we were going through the similar emotions, and like it was just like so nice having people to talk to early on in grief. And I don't connect with people the same way that I used to now. It's been nearly 5 years, and like it as you said, it does bring me down. Like I want to give them like the hope and the support, but like to do that to everyone that say reaches out is like kind of takes a bit of a toll. That sounds so bad.
No, but it's true, because I think you have to remember that you've done so much from a public point of view to share your story, that your podcast, your book, so much that you've done is a resource for people to lean on.
Yeah.
And like you go into so much detail, and you share in your book, it's a very personal story. So it feels like you're having a conversation with you about it.
Yes.
And I think that you have to protect yourself, because it is your duty to pick yourself up and move back through the world, because you got a little one.
Yeah.
And when you're giving your energy out to everyone all the time, you can't do that.
I reckon if I didn't have a little one, I'd probably have a bit more energy to do a lot more connecting with like other people going through grief and loss, for sure.